So hello, everyone, and welcome to this podcast on the Dialogue with Your Inner Doctor. And I'm here today with Lisa K. Wong, licensed acupuncturist. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Dr. Murray.
Welcome. And I'm also here with Joy Grace Harmony, who has been a client of Lisa K. Wong's before. So hi, Joy Grace.
Hi, Dr. Murray.
Welcome to the show, ladies. What I'm going to do first is read a bio for Lisa Wong. And then I'm going to read a bio for Joy Grace, and then we're going to kind of have our conversation and talk about some themes about dialoguing with your inner doctor today. So Lisa K. Wong, licensed acupuncturist, determined to become the champion of the voiceless, be it the animals and the inner doctor. Lisa is the first vegan acupuncturist to ever climb Mount Kilimanjaro and the founder of Center for Healing by Design, a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the mission to empower people worldwide with revolutionary self-care education, experience, and tools to help them get in touch with their inner doctor. Lisa uses the most organic and non-invasive ways of diagnosing and treating while informing and empowering people to take control of their own lives by overcoming their health challenges. California board licensed and nationally certified acupuncturist, Lisa holds an MS degree in traditional Chinese medicine from Five Branches University and a BS degree in computer science from UC Davis. Formerly served as a staff acupuncturist at Kaiser Permanente San Jose Medical Center, subject expert for the California Acupuncture Board, an inpatient massage therapist at El Camino Hospital. Lisa is the author of Pocket Guide to Your Body's Control Panels and Healing by Design Self-Care Guide, Relieving Headaches in Minutes. She specializes in Auricular Medicine, a comprehensive integrative medical modality which diagnoses and treats diseases of the body through inspecting and stimulating acupoints in the ears, which she calls the ear control panels, and Healing by Design self-care technology, which she developed and teaches her clients and the general public. Wow, that's quite a background, Lisa. That's awesome. So now I'd also like, oh, you're welcome. So now I'd also like to read a bio for Joy Grace Harmony, again, who's been a client of Lisa, and we're going to then be asking all sorts of questions, of course, of both folks. So Joy Grace Harmony, as a rainbow baby, growing up in the heartland of America, Joy Grace Harmony was raised on beef, chicken, and pork. Moving to Los Angeles for film school at Loyola Marymount University, and just in time for the 9.0 Northridge earthquake, Joy Grace began her journey into what does true health actually look like. Lucky for her, there were plenty of healthy lifestyle people to learn from. In 2006, she learned of her hereditary thyroid challenges. It took her nearly 5 years to overcome these, in which time frame she came to understand about the adrenal glands, lymph nodes, and the endocrine systems. She began mostly a vegan lifestyle, believing it was okay, though, to still have butter, eggs, cheese, and yogurt, and still be healthy. Well, at a business conference in March of 2014, she met licensed acupuncturist Lisa Wong, and she was shocked when Dr. Wong was able to do a full health screen, and it revealed she may have ovarian cysts. Lisa revealed to Joy Grace, even though she wasn't eating meat, she was still consuming dairy products. She went on to tell Joy Grace if she continued on the lifestyle, the cysts may turn into ovarian cancer. Joy Grace decided to make a change and let go of the cheese, butter, and yogurt and replace them with 100% vegan substitutes. 3 months later, Lisa assessed Joy Grace again at a business conference, and there were no further signs of the ovarian cysts. Joy Grace has continued the vegan lifestyle and had a complete checkup with Lisa in Las Vegas in November of last year in 2018, and Joy Grace has decided, as a result of Lisa's help, to promote Lisa Wong's educational and life-saving work. So wow, this is quite an interesting story of you ladies' backgrounds and how you met. A couple questions for you, Joy Grace. First of all, what's a rainbow baby? That was kind of interesting in the very beginning of your bio.
So what a rainbow baby is when a child is born and either dies at birth or is stillborn, then the child that comes after that is considered the rainbow baby, sort of like going back to the biblical days and Noah's Ark and the flood, and that God gave the sign of the rainbow as a sign of new life. So the baby following the death of the stillborn is the one that's considered the rainbow baby. And my brother was born in January and died in February, and I was born in December of the same year. And one interesting thing is they found out from Lisa that she's also a rainbow baby. So straight from birth, we were on these similar paths.
Yeah, I find it always so interesting how we find people and we our lives and we travel our path through life, but the universe brings us in connection with other people that may have similar paths as us and experiences.
Yeah, I didn't know the term rainbow baby existed until Joy Grace told me, and I didn't know I myself is one, given that my brother, who was a stillborn, and his life was just two hours. So I guess it's meant to be that we come together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really interesting. Also, Joy Grace, it sounds like you've had quite a path before you met Lisa, and then since you've met Lisa, why don't you just kind of elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. Before I met Lisa, like I said, in 2006, I ballooned up. I was really big, I looked puffy like a marshmallow. And they told me I had the same thyroid condition that both my mother and my aunt had at that same time in their life. And they wanted to burn out my thyroid and then put me on medication. And I decided, well, I know what that looks like for both my mom and my aunt. And I just made a decision that I would be happy being pleasantly plump, and I would figure out another way to do it. And it took till 2008, I believe it was, till I found Amazon Herbs, and then I got on the program and stayed on the program and became consistent, and I was able to recondition my mind and my body to go together, and now my thyroid functions perfect. And then I came to meet Lisa, and that was actually in March of 2015. I thought it was 2014, but it's 2015 at CEO Space, Lake Las Vegas at the time. And I thought I was in optimum health. I have to tell you, I hired her because I thought I was going to prove how absolutely healthy I was. I was 90% vegan. I was only 10% eating dairy, eggs, cheese, butter, 10%. So I figured, oh, I got this, right? And she did the ear exam on me, and I did try and lie. I will have to tell you now, I did try and lie. I wanted to say it did not hurt when she pushed on a part of my ear, and then she said, are you sure? And I hit the floor. I was screaming, oh my God, it hurt so bad. I could not deny whatever she pushed on, there was a problem. I said, okay. You'll have to tell me, what is it? And she said, well, that it was ovarian cysts. And I said, well, what are ovarian cysts and how do you get them? And she said, are you consuming animal products? And I said, well, just a little bit of eggs and butter and cheese. And she said, well, that's enough to do it. And I said, okay. I mean, I didn't want to give it up, obviously. I was having a good time at that point, eating my eggs and my butter and my cheese. I really had a hard time with the cheese. And then I found some other products that I was able to like and overcome. And then I've been able to maintain my veganism. And like I said, I just got an exam from her in November. And the ovarian cysts are gone and doing very well.
Awesome. Well, that's a neat story. Lisa, myself as well as our listeners want to understand, what is this health screen you did for Joy Grace that helped you identify the ovarian cyst?
So yeah, as a licensed acupuncturist and vegan myself, I had how I come to do this is really when I became vegetarian 25 years ago. I'm still taking animal products such as dairy and eggs and cheese. And I also had health issues, such as allergies and pain and digestive issues, as well as this lump. I woke up one day like a golf ball size. It got so bad that I had to surgically remove it. And so that was my previous career before I became an acupuncturist. I was in the high-tech, high-stress world. But I find after I become acupuncturist, and also when I find my specialty with auricular medicine, which is a modality where we use the ear to diagnose and treat and prevent diseases of the body. The whole body health exam that I did for Joy Grace, I call it a dialogue with your inner doctor, because our body has connections. Every part of our body has a cellular connection to the ear, based on the fact that the ear, just as our eyeballs, are formed at 22nd day after conception, very early in our fetal life. And that is the basis of why the health exam can be conducted through testing the ear for these cellular changes. And I've been, ever since practicing this modality, helping people to discover all the different cellular changes and abnormalities, particularly about inflammations and conditions like, besides inflammations, but also different accumulations of fluids in the body, hormone imbalances, cysts like ovarian cysts, what we found in Joy Grace ear, gallstones, kidney stones, all the different forms of different abnormality conditions due to inflammation built up in the body. And so that was what we did, and I call it the dialogue with the inner doctor, because I really think that truly our body do communicate all these information in our body, especially in control panels, which I call, and the ear control panel is, in my experience clinically, in my clinic, is the most powerful so far that I've known to reveal all this information.
Yeah, there are, just to interrupt a sec, there are the homunculus of the body, and homunculus stands for, quote, the little man.
That's exactly the same concept as the homunculus, except that that is in that's in the scalp of the body, and there's, as you know, Dr. Mary, there's all other parts of the body that's also has the homunculus, and so the ear one, I am indeed truly using the homunculus in the ear.
Yes, there's the homunculus in the cortex of the brain, the parietal lobe. There's a sensory homunculus for the body and a motor homunculus for the body that we studied in brain science for many years. But with auricular medicine, as you're describing, it's on the ear, but there's also in the feet. They talk about reflexology, where you can kind of use the feet and as that similar thing and find different areas of the body. I think there's also iridology, where you can look at the iris of the eye, and there's a whole specialty of that. So this is really auricular medicine. So that's really neat. So how does auricular medicine diagnose, prevent, and treat disease?
So auricular medicine can prevent disease because because we can detect the cellular changes at the earliest phase, as the the condition arise. For example, like so when we take in animal proteins, then the inflammation that's caused from the intake of animal protein because of the changes of the acidity in the body and resulting in inflammation, and chronic inflammation would tend to cause buildup of fluids in the certain body parts. And with the intake of animal protein especially through eating chicken or fish or turkey, most of these animals have taken in lots of, as we know, growth hormones through the food industry, the processing of the foods. Then those growth hormones will usually accumulate in our own reproductive system, parts of the body. So that will be the ovaries, the uterus, the cervix in the female body, as well as the breast. And for the male, will be the prostate gland, the testes, and also the internal genitals. All those hormone parts will be affected usually first. And so in the ear, we can usually detect the pain in those particular corresponding parts in the ear. Mm-hmm. So in Joy Grace's example, for example, the animal intake that she did with the cheese, the dairy, and the egg, the hormones built up in her body concentrate on the ovary, showed up in her ovary point in the ear where she felt this extreme pain, and the degree of the pain indicates the degree of the condition. So, so when we, and because of the cellular connection of the ear, we can detect these conditions usually way before the condition shows up in an MRI or CT scan, because those are man-made machines, technology that are calibrated to detect the tissue, the group cellular changes at only a certain point. Whereas the ear, because it's connected cellularly, the change happens as early as possible, where the inflammation stage will show up in the ear way before the group tissues have changes.
Okay. So yeah, you bring up, of course, and both of you are vegan, as you've said, and you promote veganism. I would be honest to tell you that many of the patients who come to me have tried vegetarianism or veganism, and some of them are the most ill patients I've actually had. So, but I would also state that many of them are doing it from the packaged and processed food perspective rather than a whole food perspective, let's say. But I would love to hear how, if someone is considering being vegan and if their beliefs are to be vegan and so forth, that's wonderful. But how do they stay optimally healthy and make sure they're getting enough protein, number one, but also enough of the B vitamin, B12, folate, and these types of things that some vegetarians and vegans aren't educated about and actually end up ill as a result of that lifestyle. So what would you recommend?
Yeah, so Dr. Murray, you're absolutely right how why a lot of the vegetarians or even vegans, because they do not know fully or educated on how best to eat the optimum vegan diet, getting all the nutrients requirements that they need, and also to do the preventive work that they can do for their body. That's why I teach I'm actually developing my online course, especially for this purpose, is to educate the vegans, to teach them where to get the proper protein. if we eat a very healthy, balanced diet of the green, organic green, dark green vegetables, and usually that's enough to satisfy our protein requirement, which is average 56 grams of protein for adults. And as we know from the astronauts' diet, the optimum protein is a plant-based source, which is quinoa. And through the animal, this longest running dietary study, I don't know if you've heard of the China study, that they find out that animal protein, the problem with animal protein is that it turns on cancer genes, which all of us have, except that the whether we are expressing the cancer genes due to our stressors in the environment, whether yes, the stressors that the environment will determine whether our cancer genes gets expressed. And so, but if a person gets the protein through the plant-based protein, then the cancer genes gets turned off. So that was one of the most valuable source of information about where to get your protein and which protein are the most healthiest.
And how do they make sure they get enough B12 and folate, for example?
So B12 is made by bacteria in our gut, in the animal's gut, as well as our own large intestines. And usually, if they eat enough leafy green vegetables or fruits, then our gut bacteria has those, will produce the B12 from the food that we eat.
Mm-hmm.
But we also can, it's easy for a vegetarian to satisfy the B12 requirement, which is 14 microgram of B12 every day. And if we don't eat enough greens, then we could just take a simple B12 supplement and that will satisfy it easily.
Yeah, and one thing that a lot of people also should realize is that a methylated form of B12 or a methylated form of folate would be your best and most optimal, because our bodies don't have to, the biochemical pathways, many people, a certain percentage of the population may have a nucleotide polymorphism, which means they don't metabolize just plain regular B12 off of the shelf as a supplement, as well as if they were to take a methylated form. So yeah.
What does a methylated form mean? How do you get that?
Oh, you just look at the different supplements and you look at the back, and if it says it's a methylated tetrahydrofolate, methylated cobalamin. Cobalamin is the name for B12. It just says methyl as a prefix. That's all.
Okay.
It's METHYL. So methyl, and then the name of the supplement you're trying to take. So methyl tetrahydrofolate for folate, or methylcobalamin. Cobalamin is just a big word that really is the scientific name for B12. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really good to know for our listeners, and just even non-vegetarians. It's good for them to know about this.
Oh, absolutely. So, Joy Grace, you've obviously, your background professionally is more in the marketing and business field, isn't it?
Correct. I do a lot of sales and promotion and team building, and I sit on a lot of, I help with a lot of capital raising and that sort of stuff. But yes, I got into health because of my health situation, and kind of have been a little kicking and screaming on this one. I really wasn't planning on having ovarian cysts, and I certainly wasn't looking to be any poster girl for veganism or anything at all. was not, I was not here going, you know, pick me, pick me. No, I've been kicking and screaming on this one. You know, I grew up in the, you know, in Omaha in the meat packing industry and barbecued. I was a master barbecuer. I used to work out 4 times a week. We ate our beef and our chicken and salmon and pork. I mean, it was, so it was a struggle coming along. I was not the easiest person to convince that I shouldn't be doing the things I loved and the things I wanted to do. And, you know, but here we are. And if you would have told me this when I was young, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said there's absolutely no way, and that I wasn't interested in any way, shape, or form.
Well,
So it's been a...
Yeah, that happens to a lot of us, doesn't it? Especially with an illness of some sort. It'll cause us to go in directions we didn't think we'd ever go, for sure. So you've mentioned in your bio that you've been interested in helping promote Lisa's work. What is it that you're promoting specifically for her at this time?
Well, I'm promoting specifically that those that think they're healthy like I did, you know, like I said, I was a 90% vegan, 10% vegetarian. I really thought that I was in optimum health. Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure. So when I met her at CEO's Faith and she was telling me about it, I said, well, I was really just going to prove that I was right. That's what I was doing. I was hiring her to prove that I was right and she was wrong, and that I was already healthy. And so I had her do the test, and like I said, oh, it hurt so bad when she pushed on that spot. I just cried. I just screamed. So I knew that there was something going on, and because I just thought I was healthy. I really did. I was very arrogant about my, well, I can just have a little bit of butter. I could just have a little bit of eggs. It's only a little bit. It's not going to kill me. That was my mantra. It's not going to kill me. Except for I didn't know that when she did the test, that the ovarian cysts, they're a big deal, right, Lisa?
Well, ovarian cysts, as a lot of us know, it's, and what I see in my clients, it's very, very common, not only in women, and the men, the prostate and the testes, they all have inflammation to some degree if they are eating any kind of animal protein, you know. So, so it is very common to see it. However, what also people need to know is that it's interesting how ovarian cancer, the reason why most of ovarian cancer is detected so late in the stage, usually stage 4, is because there's no pain involved. There's no nerve ending in the ovaries to detect those built up of ovarian cysts. Just like gallstones, they know everybody's carrying some kind of gallstones, and to a certain degree, because I see it in the ear most often, but they don't feel any pain until there's the stones or the ovarian, the cyst builds up too much, that they actually will have excruciating pain when they, in the case of gallstones, the stones have to come out to the gallbladder duct, and that's where there's nerve endings, and that's where the person will experience excruciating pain that they have to go to the ER and have their gallbladder removed. But with the case of ovarian cysts, the cysts will just keep accumulating, and there will be some pain down the road, but when they discover it later on, when this, actually people experience the pain, then it might be too late to, and it will develop into the cancer stage. But when, with the ear, I'm so grateful I've seen that the ear can detect for people is that they can, when during the cyst stage, it could be a long time, but that could be an early warning for people to be able to do something, to change their diet, to do some prevention measures to prevent getting to that stage where it becomes cancer.
Well, Lisa, you also talk about, the auricular medicine being a diagnostic tool, but how is it also a treatment?
Great question. Thank you for asking, Dr. Murray. So the diagnostic tool is to help us discover the conditions early. And at the same time, the ear, because of the same connections, we can use acupressure or the needles, in my case, with acupuncture treatments, we can stimulate increased blood flow to the different parts of the body. And as we know, the body naturally knows how to heal itself when we help the body increase blood flow. And the increased blood flow will increase the delivery of nutrients to the body, different particular parts of the body. Here in this case, Joy Gray's case is to the ovaries. And then also the increased blood flow also carries away the toxins in the body. And in her case, we move the excess fluid built up in the ovaries. So in that sense, the treatment method through just manipulating the ear, nothing else in the body can do that function, that effect. And it's what I've seen in my patients, the auricular treatment is so fast, so you can feel the effect so quickly because the ear is just right next to the brain. So there's a very immediate impact in the change because of this.
You do for a patient, or is this something a patient can do for themselves, or a combination, or how does that work?
So the patient definitely can help themselves if they are aware that the ear has this ability, and they can do self-detection by just massaging the ear and looking for pain points. And then when they find the pain points, they can do just massage, acupressure, and that itself can let it kick in and activate the body's natural healing power. Of course, when the patient comes to me and I can do the professional treatment using acupuncture, that is even more powerfully increase the blood flow. And of course, we have all these much more different points in the ear that act as a formula to impact all the different parts of the body, because a lot of conditions we have is not just involving one body part. Like, for example, the ovarian cyst in Joy Gray's example, the body fluid, the buildup of fluid in the ovaries is due to the blockage, abnormality in her liver and gallbladder system, and also affecting her whole body hormones. And so we in the professional treatment, I would also use points to affect all the other associate organs so that all of them work together to improve this condition. But so the beauty is, yes, the professional treatment as well as the patient doing self-massage in between treatments, in between the professional sessions, can speed up the healing. And the patient can use this knowledge to monitor themselves, so to maintain the disease-free state for the rest of their life. And that's the beauty that I want, and the power of this medicine that I want to share with the whole world, so they can impact and empower themselves to restore and optimize their health. Just like what you do, Dr. Murray. I'm so appreciate your mission to help people restore and optimize their health.
Well, that's what it's all about, because, you know, you can't rely on any one aspect of medicine these days. There's so many different options. So that's what it's all about, is to empower people with education, community, support, and the fact that there's always other options to look at. And that's why I like to have folks like yourself on, so that people hear about all the different possibilities that are out there. The traditional medical model, folks, is about chronic disease management, not chronic disease resolution or getting to the root cause. And my original training, of course, was in internal medicine, and I've been in the intensive care units out there, and I've been a primary care doctor, but I got very tired of simply pushing pills and managing chronic disease and not getting to the root cause for people. So thank you so much for coming on, Lisa. How do people find you? How do people where are you anyhow? Because I don't think you that out. Because I'm in the White Mountains in New Hampshire, but where are you?
Well, I practice out of San Jose, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. Right now, I'm in Vancouver, actually, to develop my online course, which is the Vegan Vitality 101, which I will promote online once I get it ready. It's a 6-week online course, followed by a 3-day live event. So I could be reached at my website, www.centerforhealingbydesign.org. And so welcome anybody who's interested in optimizing their vegan or vegetarian, or curious about using vegan lifestyle to enhance their health. I just grateful to serve those individuals who's curious about how to do this naturally and organically.
Yeah, and Joy Grace, where are you? Because of course we're in 3 different places, of course, and on the internet today, that's easy. But we all met or have interacted or connected through an organization called CEO Space International. And obviously, as an acupuncturist and myself out in private practice, and Joy Grace in the business world, but especially in the medical profession or a health professional, we need to learn how to run a business when we're out on our own, and we are not trained that in our medical or health training. So it's nice to have found an organization that is all about collaboration and not about competition, and how we can help each other. So Joy Grace, where are you, and what types of things are you working on these days?
So I'm in Dunedin, Florida, which is next to Palm Harbor, and that's where I met you, Dr. Murray, in December, was at the forum that was in Palm Harbor. They're now in Dallas right now. Today is the first day of the grad weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I am working on the Business Acceleration Network with Shannon Branch. Yeah, and so I've been helping to promote her events. I did the 12th summit that she just had in February at the Rosen Center. And then I'll be at the Media Magic event April 11th and 12th in Melbourne. Yeah, and so I'm enjoying being the Business Acceleration Network coordinator. Yeah, and
that's awesome. Because I'm very familiar with Shannon Branch. I met her through CEO Space, and even before, I've read her book named Media Magic, and I'm on her Monday Masterminds, and that's where you and I see each other most Mondays. Yeah. So it's just wonderful to develop this collaborative environment where people are not only obviously business-minded from a CEO Space International perspective, but also health conscious. Because if you're only going to be as productive and happy and joyful and fulfilled in your life as you are healthy as well as productive. So it's awesome. So why don't we end with, I would ask each of you, and why don't we start with you, Joy Grace, what is your one tip or secret that you would say is your secret that you would want to share with the folks listening on how to live a healthy lifestyle? Or how
my biggest tip would be to listen to your own inner doctor, which AKA used to be our inner guide. But now Lisa's been able to label your inner doctor, because your inner doctor is always giving you the right dialogue, and you have to listen to it instead of anybody else out there. Listen to your inner doctor.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And how about you, Lisa? What is your secret tip that you would leave folks with today to be as healthy as possible?
Wow. I absolutely consider, because I'm the advocate for your inner doctor, definitely I want to encourage people to be curious about their body, and hopefully they're curious enough, and also because they're curious and realize how powerful they already are, that they have this inner doctor in them, that they can not only prevent, but also can heal themselves if they work with their inner doctor. And I encourage them to, one tip is they massage their ears often. And just be curious and explore their body, and not just the ears, but all the other parts, the hands, their heads, and their feet. All these are control panels that I teach in my Healing by Design Self-Care Technology, that those are all the different special parts of the body that they can review and get information from their inner doctor and help themselves.
Well, that's awesome. Because, you know, that's what it's all about. I like to try and research and ask. When I give my presentations, I ask questions. And lately I've been asking people about the strengths and the weaknesses of the traditional medical model. And one thing I'm hearing a lot from people is one of the weaknesses is that doctors do not realize that people know themselves best, and they're not willing to listen to the patient when the patient says, I think this or that is bothering, something's going on in this or that area of my body or this or that area of my life, and they're not willing to listen to it. And it's like, here, to say, you know, believe and listen to your inner doctor, because you do know best. And if the doctors, honestly, the way I was trained, would shut up and listen to you, 99% of the time, you patients are going to tell us what's wrong and make our job a lot easier. So thank you both so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And that's awesome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Murray. I really honor you for your work and your passion to spread the message that people can restore and optimize their health and work with their inner doctor. And actually, it really makes our doctors much easier, their job much easier, if we do our part to be communicating to with our inner doctor.
Absolutely. Joy Grace, thanks so much for being with us, and thanks for sharing and bringing us Lisa.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate your program and making a dent in her inner doctor dialogue. And yeah, everyone, thank you very much for having me on.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.